I watched a troublemaker risk everything to protect a child no one knew was being abused. I discovered that our neighborhood's so-called problem kid was stealing food from our community garden to feed a 7-year-old whose mother locked him in their apartment while she worked double shifts. The revelation completely changed how I view the labels we put on teenagers. Everyone in our apartment complex knew Jamie as the sullen 16-year-old who blasted music too loud, skipped school regularly, and responded to friendly greetings with eye rolls. Parents warned their kids to stay away from him. Even I, the community garden coordinator who prided myself on connecting with difficult youth, had made little progress beyond occasional grunted acknowledgments. Last summer, our community garden started experiencing mysterious harvests. Chevin was taking vegetables overnight. Not vandalism, but careful harvesting that left plants intact. Just the ripest tomatoes, peppers, and sugarcane disappeared 3 times a week, always on the same schedule. After a month of this, I installed a small trail camera disguised as the birdhouse. When I checked the footage, I was shocked to see Jamie methodically harvesting vegetables at 5:30 a.m. using gardening techniques I demonstrated in community workshops he'd never attended. He was wearing garden gloves and using proper cutting tools. Clearly not a random theft. Rather than confronting him, I decided to follow him the next time. At 5:15 a.m., I stationed myself behind the recycling bins and watched as Jamie arrived, carefully selected perfectly ripe vegetables, and placed them in his backpack. Instead of heading toward his apartment, he walked to the building next door and used what looked like a homemade tool to jimmy open the service entrance. I followed at a distance, watching him climb to the 3rd floor and knock softly on apartment 307 parent, a specific pattern, clearly a code. The door opened just enough for his backpack to pass through, then closed. Jamie waited in the hallway for exactly 2 minutes before the backpack emerged again. Now empty, this continued for 3 more mornings before I finally approached him. "Jamie," I called softly as he headed toward the stairwell. He froze, then turned with an expression I'd never seen on his face before. Paired on not defiance but raw fear. "I am not reporting you," I said quickly. "I just want to understand what's happening." Then when I showed him the footage and promised confidentiality, the story spilled out. Implied apartment 307 lived 7-year-old Elijah and his mother, a single parent working 2 jobs, with no affordable childcare available. She locked Elijah in their apartment during her overnight shifts. "He was trying to open a can of beans with a screwdriver when I found him," Jamie explained, his voice uncharacteristically soft. "Cut his hand pretty bad. His mom leaves him food, but it's never enough. He's just a little kid." Jamie had discovered this situation 3 months earlier when he heard crying through the wall. He'd been bringing food from his own home until his mother noticed missing groceries and accused him of selling them for drugs. That's when he turned to the community garden. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" I asked. "His mom's not bad," Jamie insisted. "She's just desperate. Foster care would be worse, pained. I know that firsthand." I learned then that Jamie had spent 4 years in the system before being reunited with his mother. That afternoon, I called a community meeting. Without identifying Jamie or Elijah, I proposed a solution. A free weekend food program for children in our complex staffed by volunteer parents within 2 weeks. We had 20 families participating, including Elijah's mother, who both received and contributed food when she could. Jamie still rarely smiles. He still plays his music too loud, but he now helps in the garden 3 evenings a week, teaching younger kids how to tell when a tomato is perfectly ripe. Yesterday, I overheard Mrs. Rivera, who once called the police because Jamie was sitting on her stairwell telling a newcomer, "That's Jamie. He runs our children's garden program." Such a responsible young man. Sometimes the troublemakers are just solving problems no one else has noticed, and sometimes kindness looks like stolen vegetables in the early morning light.